Tyler Robinson was not the assassin. He was merely the patsy. Here is Candace providing even more information again.
That he has in the footage is completely removed. So let's watch that. Okay. Now what happens next is exactly as my source stipulated. Our rooftop guy begins a tactical crawl. It's actually known in the military as a lateral crawl. Let's watch that. There he goes. And I actually do want to show you side by side so you can actually see a real military man do that alongside this person on the rooftop. Let's bring in that side by side clip. Here we go.
I mean, that is like, it's like a dead giveaway. Now, what I want to know, and this is the more important part of the story, why did it take this long for this footage to surface? Why was somebody holding this back for so long? That would be my question. That you would think that footage like this probably would have come out within the first few days. And it makes you wonder who's been holding it, what they would use it for. Yeah, there's a lot to be suspicious of here.
General action right there is known as a lateral crawl. Now, you may have noted, if you're just looking at your eyes, some sort of a flash that just took place, right? We're going to show you that slowed down and just kind of discuss this. We've gone back and forth here. What is that? Is he pulling something out? Is it like a signal mirror? Is it a flag? Was it already on Losey Center? Is it actually something that's in the background that's just catching weird? Is it a car? And we're just thinking that we see this flash, but we're just going to show you that so that it's clear. Back and forth flash there while he's military crawling. Here we go. There, and we're running that back and forth there. Okay, so you now have that. Next up, what you are going to see is that it's going to look as though, as he gets into position and completes this lateral crawl, that he thrusts something forward in a way that my brain told me it looked like he was unfolding a gun. Truly, that's what my brain told me. Maybe it's because I had this guy who told me about a fold AR. I don't know, but it's not definitive. That's me narrating. I'm happy for people to disagree and debate what is seen. But let's just watch that portion here. There we go. Something forward, and we can watch that again. Something forward again.
I mean, I know what it looks like from here, even in this very grainy footage. It, to me, appears to be an easily detached rifle, high-powered rifle of some kind. And the same thing I am reminded of when we saw what went down in Butler, PA, when you see a guy crawling across the rooftop in a very similar fashion, and no one does anything about it, which leads one to believe that it's ostensibly how this goes down. That it was always a setup from the very beginning, that there were multiple involved parties to make sure that this went down the way that it did. And from the footage we saw, with the way that everyone sprung into action as soon as Charlie was shot, what did we see? Yeah, we saw certain people rushing to grab Charlie, but there were also others who were doing other things. Tyler Boyer, Andrew Colvett, Mikey McCoy, And of course, you have Erica Kirk. You have all of these key players that know something that they're not telling. Now, as I said, the organization is not going to last. TPUSA won't last. I don't know what they think they're going to do or how they're going to maintain this conservative youth outreach, which is what the organization was primarily doing. If you listen to anything that they're doing now, it's basically become a Christian Zionist revival organization of sorts. But that's not surprising. I think one would have expected it to probably go in that direction because at this point, they think that that's all they really have left with it. So the guys that are there are going to try to get as much out of it as they can. But to me, little by little, drip by drip, as I've been, and I'm going to keep saying it, Candace knows exactly who did this. She's just bringing everybody along so they never for a second think about even reverting to the prospect or the possibility that they're going to buy the establishment's narrative that it was Tyler Robinson that did this. I don't even like using his name. I just like calling him the Patsy because that's what he is.
But more importantly than what we see here is what we're not going to see here. So remember, this is supposed to be a German 98 Mauser family heirloom gun used during World War I and World War II. That'll effectively take your shoulder out when it's fired. Even the newer models, if you go watch people shooting, they're like, oh, my shoulder. And if you're looking through a scope, as he allegedly was, you might even expect a black eye. You will recall that the guy who recorded the footage specifically told us that he saw no recoil. That's pretty crucial. He just saw the guy get up and run. And that would be, I would argue, or a lawyer in court, that would be impossible for this specific naked model of gun. So let's watch and see if we, with our eyes, can observe some sort of a kickback. And again, I have to apologize. This is not like Benny Johnson 4K footage, but it's at least clear enough here on your screen that you would be able to discern a strong kickback on a gun.
Any opportunity you can take to take a shot at Benny in the closet, by all means, please take it.
From somebody who's just laying down, taking a shot. So I'm going to let this run. It's about 50 seconds. And you just let me know if at any point you see that before he gets up and breaks into a sprint. Take a look. There you go. That's that unfolding again. And by the way, if you are listening to this in audio, this is one of these episodes that you actually do have to go watch. So you will have to pivot over to YouTube, to Spotify, somewhere that provides the video, because this is not something that we could just produce on an audio podcast here, unfortunately. But this is going to run. We did have to obviously zoom in and push out those fed timestamps, but see here, I have 10 more seconds here. Okay, he is up. Anybody? Anybody see a recoil? I didn't see one, but let's actually put that footage all together uninterrupted. Here we go for you guys to watch. Here he comes running on to the rooftop. What we know definitively is he gets down into what is known as a lateral military crawl. He begins that crawl over to the right first, and then to the left. We see a quick flash. We are not sure what that flash is. Actually, this looks like, oh, I'm not going to read into it. There's that throw forward. I say fold forward. You can say throw forward, but that's definitely something being flung forward, getting into position. And here we wait for what we expect to be some sort of a kickback. must have been when our source began recording from the side of a low-C building and said, oh, I just saw someone get up there. He's got a gun. And he's up. And he's gone.
This was a military hit. And whoever is the assassin that came in to do this, or assassins, because it's never just one. There's always I'm not saying it's a turkey shoot, but, these things, assuming that it was a bullet, I still think it was probably an exploding microphone. There are many different roles that various people play in something of this significance. That's not a person who clearly wasn't sure of what they were doing. They seemed very sure of what they were doing, got into their position, took the shot, up, ran, goodbye. And I think this has been pointed out time and again. The amount of stress and pressure that goes into this, unless you are a trained killer, and to get it right on the first shot and the only shot, again, there is a reason why people don't believe this, and they have every reason to feel that way.
What do you guys think?
What I think is that they're running out of time to try to convince the public to not believe their own eyes, to not believe what is painfully obvious at this point. Charlie was a very important key in the future of conservative politics that had to involve the state of Israel. And he decided against it. And he paid the price. When I watch various people in positions of power insisting upon a narrative that we know isn't true, just know, much as I discussed a little while ago regarding Fuentes, it's the same thing. When they show you their hand, believe them. Believe what they're telling you. And what they're telling you is that things are not on the up and up. Tyler Robinson is a patsy. Andrew Colvett, Mikey McCoy, Blake Neff, Erica Kirk, Tyler Boyer, and many others are in on the cover-up. To what extent, I can't say, and I don't know, but nothing is what it seems. And I believe that once this is fully uncovered, and once the consensus is that this was an inside job on Israel's behalf, the floodgates will continue to open. But remember, our goal is to disintegrate this relationship, this unholy alliance between the U.S. and Israel. And it isn't even so much our state. We do have millions of Jewish and Christian Zionists throughout the country. But in reality, how much of the voting, or just of the general population, do they truly make up? My guess, it's not nearly as big as people think. And it certainly isn't anything like it was just a few years ago. Now they're cratering. And it is our job to make sure that we push it over the cliff, and so that it's no more. Just making that statement was extremely bizarre. It had no context. The thing we've also learned about so much of what we see in front of us now, they're not good at clandestine operations like they used to be. We have gotten to a point now where everyone believes that everything is a conspiracy. That is the reality of where we're at. I'm not saying that everything is a conspiracy, but what I am saying is that we are developing a segment of the population that is looking at almost universally every major story that breaks and thinks, okay, so what are we missing here?